You go to this wheel bend and you just give a wee gentle roll and I'll roll down. Hold on, I put it too high now. Hello. Right, go on by slowly. Okay, so the splitting of the tractor has taken place 6 days ago. So what you've seen there, we've moved on a little bit from that. Firstly, hope you all had a very good weekend. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the sub button, leave a like on the video, comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll try to get back with some answers to you. What are we doing today? Well, we're going to have a little look at how we've progressed on the last 6 days from when we split the tractor. Is it 6 days? It is. Well, this is Sunday, so we didn't really do anything to it today. So, yeah, we had quite a busy week with it. We have a lot of work done to it. We'll have a look at it first in its current state, which is good to see. It's back together. We have got all the work in there sorted out. I'm going to go through now just some of the things that we had to do to leave this tractor as we wanted. A lot of it expected. One or two little things that we didn't expect that we had to sort out on it. We'll also show you what they were. And yeah, let's get going and have a look at it. We're also going to be having a little look at something that Farmhand left out of me. So you'll see that. And then we'll be having a final calving update, which is always great when you have a final calving update. But we'll also be looking at that a little bit later in the video. But first, we'll concentrate on the 3650, see what we've got done, where we're at with it, yeah, and what we still have to do. Okay, so let's start. You've seen the first thing we done was we split the tractor here. Was wheeled back, and that allowed us access then into where the PTO pack is, where the high-low is situated, and we were able to dismantle that and take it out. So we'll go over here and we'll have a quick look at some of the bits here that were replaced. Yeah, so as I say, PTO pack was taken out. We had to have a little look at the PTO pack itself, see what the story was with that. We had to change a couple of actually not a couple, one wear plate and one disc. Slight little bit of wear in one of the discs and the wear plate. The other ones were like new. There was no issues with them at all. So they were taken out and changed over. There was a gear in the transmission pump, which is this one here, and there was a very, very slight little bit of wear on that. Now, look, it probably would have done for another while. It probably would have done a long time. But when we were in there, when we seen a small bit of wear on it, we decided to get a new one, which we did, and that'll just leave that in as new condition. Yeah, so all the seals, everything was done in the high-low. That was all sorted out. Wear plates were replaced. There was a spring also in the PTO pack which had to be changed. Now there was a very slight bit of difference in it. This one was compressed a little bit more. So look, at again, if you weren't in there doing it, you wouldn't need to change it. You know, it probably wouldn't have caused that much issue. But we just want everything to be done to this tractor that everything is right with it. That's what we're aiming for. So anyway, once we had that done, we then decided to split it here and have a look at the clutch. So that was then slid out. It was actually taken out we took it out the teleporter on a sling. We were able to just put a little bit of a lift on it, give it a bit of a wriggle, and it came straight out. It was able to be lifted out of the way. Once we were in there, then we took the pressure plate, we took the clutch out, the release bearing, assessed them, see what they were like. The clutch had the only things that we could see that possibly may have been done before or were done before in this tractor was there was a clutch put in it at some stage. There was also possibly a water pump done it. Everything else, there was nothing touched on it. Every bolt still has all the paint on it, so it has never had that awfully much work done to it. So yeah, took this out to have a look at it. The clutch, let's see if I can find the clutch. The clutch actually wasn't too bad. Hold on, let's see. Here it is here. So that is the clutch to come out of it. Clutch, I'd say, hadn't got 1,000 hours on it. Very little wear on it. It would have done, but when we were in there, we decided we were going to change it. Release bearing wasn't a great make, and we were happy enough to be changing that. We put one of the Sachs ones in it, so much better make, and yeah, would be a better release bearing. Pressure plate, again as well, it was new when the clutch was done, but when we were in there, we were going to change it. We weren't going to take a chance and just leave it in there because, like I said, we don't want having to split this again. We took the flywheel out or off, and it was skimmed. Very, very little to come off it. I think it was either 15 or 16 thousandths of an inch is all that came off it to leave it a nice flat surface. So that was done as well. 3650s have got a different clutch in them than to a 3350 or a 3050. Well, actually, the clutch is the same. It's the pressure plate that's different. The pressure plate, it's a much heavier, it's a much heavier, stronger one. So it's just to withstand the extra power, I suppose, or this is probably their angle on it. But yeah, so it's a different one. It's a heavier duty one, and yeah, we had to get one of those. All right, so once we had the clutch done, that's when we found a little bit of an issue we weren't expecting. In here, where the clutch is housed, there was a bit of an oil dampness which shouldn't be there, and we had to figure out where it was coming from. It was coming down on this side you could see it running down on the inside. Now, not much oil, but a little bit of an oil dampness that, as I say, should not be there. And what we had to do was, there's a back plate here on the back of the engine which had to be taken off. So we can more or less see it here. This line here, it comes into there. It's only about 2.5 inches wide. We had to take that off the back of the engine. Housed in that there's a few seals. There's access into the rear crankshaft seal on the engine itself. There's 2 other small seals as well. One is a little bit bigger than the other, and it was the bigger one that was causing the issue. The seal, when we took it out, you could see a little split. When we took the back plate off, you could see a very small split on the seal itself. And when we actually took the seal out with a screwdriver, it just disintegrated and broke up. So it just went hard and brittle and started to leak at some point in the recent past, we'll say. So a couple of new seals we've got for that. We also got a new rear crankshaft seal and put all that in and just put the back plate back onto the engine. So again, just something we didn't expect, but at the same time, good to have got it sorted when we were in this far. And yeah, it's one more little issue that is sorted, done and dusted. It's like brand new in there. So that's what you want. You want it like new. We want this tractor to be as good on the inside as it is on the outside. That's what it's all about. We wanted that if we're going to put it to work, get it out in the field. If this is on the JF, or we put it on the JF for a half a day or a day, we want it to be able to beat that grass into the trailer. So yeah, she has to be right. What else have we done? Well, the hitch here on the back has been taken off. You can see it there on the ground. We just took that off actually this morning. We're going to start working on doing something with the hitch. We have a little bit of an idea what we're going to do, what kind of hitch we're going to put in it, but that'll be for a later video. We're going to just go over a quick look into the cab now as well. Okay, so we're going to just quick look at the cab. I'll show you what I've been doing here. Cleaning it down mostly. Spent a lot of time cleaning it down over the last few days as well. Whenever I've had a spare few minutes, I've been cleaning at it. Now, cab is in very good condition. Very little rust. There's a little bit here on the side. Let's see, I'm trying to hold this LED light and the camera at the same time. A little bit of rust here. Very, just nothing at all. You can rub it off with your finger. But I might just give that a wee sand down and blast a bit of black or a bit of black primer on it. But yeah, all the glue is coming off very nicely. These covers here with your hydraulic arms, there's a little space they leave for your hydraulic arms to come up into the cab a little bit. They're out of shape, which is unusual. Now, whether something went over and lay on them for a prolonged period of time, but look, it's not the end of the world. I don't think I'll be changing them. I think they're about, you can purchase them from John Deere still. I think they're about €70 a piece, but there's no holes in them. A little bit out of shape. You can't really see them once the seat's in there, so they'll probably do fine. But yeah, overall it's coming up very nicely. A bit of muck still on those. I haven't cleaned at those themselves, but I've more or less the sides and the top here is all done. Floor, I haven't cleaned it just yet. Bit of painting to do here, just where your feet kind of rubs along, so I'll primer that and paint that, and yeah, continue to do a bit of cleaning. Haven't cleaned at any of the plastic yet. I'll do that before the interior is fitted, hopefully in the next few weeks. So yeah, plenty of work still to be done on cleaning around the cab, but I don't mind that. It's once you actually get stuck into it, it's not too bad. These windows, I'm going to take them out. You can see there is a serious amount of dust on the rubbers. Serious amount of dust. And the rubbers, actually, you can see the way it's fell down. I was trying to get the light that it's not glaring back. You can see the way the rubbers fell down. We'll have to address that and get it stuck back into position there at the top. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it. I have been cleaning around the front of the tractor here as well. Let's see if we can get the light on and you can see it properly. Have been cleaning around the front of the tractor here as well, and it is coming up very nicely. I fit a new door handle which I got. The old one, the centre, had broken out of it, so I got a new door handle for it, and yeah, it's another little job done on the cab, just getting that fitted on. So yeah, progress has been made. A lot still to be done, but the fact that this here is now done and dusted, the inside of it is sorted, is brilliant. There is a couple of bits still to go on here on the side to do with the electric hitch on it, or electric hydraulics. So yeah, wee bit to be done on that. Just it has to be all bolted back up, and yeah, soon be ready then for taking off the wheels. The wheels then can go get stripped down, get them painted, get all that sorted, and we have to check the brakes on it. So there's a bit to be done yet. Okay, let's have a little look at this machine that farmhand left down to me, and you can see that, and then we'll have a little look at the cows and how the calving has finished up at the end of the video. So yeah, alright, so we're going to have a quick look at this machine. We're going to have a walk around it. This machine was very kindly left out with me from farmhand. They contacted me back in February to see if I'd be interested in taking it on a demo and then to make some videos on it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that I was going to have it for when I needed it. I wanted them to leave it with me for the whole springtime, but there were a few other people they wanted to drop it off. But one of them actually was Farmer Phil. He had it for about a week, and I'd done the rounds, done a couple of other people, and then it come to me. But by the time it come to me, I had most of my fertilizer out, and there was no point in setting it up on the tractor just to spread. I think I had like 10 or 12 acres of fertilizer to go out on hay ground by the time it got here. So yeah, very kindly they sent it out to me, but unfortunately I wasn't able to use it. The bulk of my fertilizer was all spread. But we're going to have a little walk around it today. It is one of the very latest Amazon fertilizer spreaders. This particular model is the ZA-V 2200. So I think the capacity of this is close to around something over just around 2 ton, or maybe just over 2 ton. And we're just going to do a couple of comparisons between this spreader and our spreader. Ours is the older model, similar in some ways with weight cells and all speed related, but this is just a step on in technology. This one here's got GPS and lots of other good features as well on it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to have a quick walk around it, have a look at some of the features, some of the changes, and what they've done that I think has certainly made this a much better spreader than what I have currently. So let's do that, let's have a look around it. Okay, so one of the first things that I noticed on this spreader compared to ours is that there is a small A-frame added onto it to step the spreader out. It's probably stepping the spreader out about 4 inches from the tractor. It might even be slightly more than that. And that would be a very beneficial feature, because I find that with our spreader, hitching it on and off, it's basically a very similar setup, but we're connecting in the arms here and this back hole, and the top link then goes on in here, and it is quite close to the tractor. When you're trying to hook it on, there's no room to get in and out to hook on hoses. You kind of have to do that beforehand, reverse back in, and then hitch it on. This here, the fact that it's stepped out, would be a much better job. I like the way that that is done. Other features on this is that it has got 2 weight cells on it rather than 1. Air spreader has 1 weight cell on it. This one here has 2 now on it, and the benefit of that is that on hilly ground, or maybe fertilizer might slide to one side, and it could alter the way that the spreader is reading the weight of fertilizer you've got on. having two on it leaves it much more accurate, and that is definitely a very good feature to have on it. Completely isobus ready, this fertilizer spreader, which is the way everything has gone now at this point. Other features: rollover cover, which is electric rollover cover. Ours has a lever on it, swings round. This one you do it in the tractor, folds back itself. Very nice feature, and probably not essential to have, but very nice feature to have on it all the same. Ladder on this as well, so if you need to climb into the spreader to clean it out or to do something with it, take any debris out of it, and nice to have a ladder there to try and get into it. Otherwise it just wouldn't be that simple. There's actually a ladder on both sides. I thought that just looking at it, but yeah, ladder on both sides. Amazon has also changed the hopper design on this. It is an all-in-one piece hopper now, so you've got a natural flow. If you look at the shape of it, the way it flows right down, there is a natural flow now for the fertilizer to run right down to get out onto your discs or spinners, and that's a very nice feature. It's much more sloped than an air spreader. Air spreader can tend to at times catch. We call them greedy boards or extensions, as some people might call them, on the side of it. There's 3 of them on it to rise it up and increase your capacity. And fertilizer catches in amongst all those extensions, and that won't happen on the spreader. So it's basically whatever you can buy. As far as I know, you can get, I'm not sure if you can buy extensions for it afterwards, but I think you can order, if you want a bigger spreader, it comes in an all-in-one hopper, and it's just that better flow is a huge bonus and will help to get fertilizer out, not be catching up in the spreader itself. This spreader here comes equipped with a limiter, which I think is an excellent feature. So yeah, it helps to limit the amount of fertilizer loss, whether it be into ditches, water courses, or whatever. You can drop that down, set it up, and yeah, just stops you losing fertilizer in places where you don't really want. So another feature that is on the spreader is the discs now have completely changed in shape. So the discs on our spreader are circular. You see now they've moved to this oval setup, and they've also completely changed the spreading vanes. They're totally different shape and angle to them than what's on ours, and much longer as well. So you can see on the design of them, they now flick up, which I am informed that it greatly increases the accuracy of the fertilizer being spread. It also, this here angled cut on the vane also helps with the spreading pattern. As your fertilizer comes up in here on the vane itself, depending on where the fertilizer is, it starts letting the fertilizer off earlier. So your fertilizer, as it comes off here, will be landing in a different part of the field, obviously, to fertilizer that makes it right the whole way down. So yeah, plenty of technology involved there, and greatly increases your spreading accuracy. Another thing here is that if you want to change your vanes, so depending on what fertilizer you're using, as you all know, depending on what fertilizer you're using, depending on what meters you're spreading at, these vanes here have to be all changed nearly from fertilizer to fertilizer. Very, very simple to change them on this spreader. It's just a matter of pop this down and you can slide this whichever way you want. So you need your 2 hands, one to hold the disc, but you just pop that down, and this then you can slide it into whichever one of these slots that it needs to go into. So very simple and easy way to do it. Air spreader has got a wing nut at the bottom, a big plastic wing nut or a nut that you have to open and close, and sometimes you may need a set of grips to do that. So this is just a much more simplified system, and I really like that feature on the spreader as well. There is also, I might be able to just lift this up a little bit, maybe you might be able to see it, maybe you won't. There is also a new agitation system on these compared to the older ones. Probably can't really see that much, but it also helps to agitate the fertilizer and get it down onto your disc to get it down onto your disc better. Yeah, but that is really it. Nice lights here on the front. There's also a mat to stop material of muck getting up onto the spreader itself, which is also a nice little feature to have on it. And yeah, I think that is basically that. So as I mentioned, this is a full GPS spreader. So basically, once your field is stored in the system, you type in what kgs per hectare you want to put on, what meters you're working off, and this spreader does the rest. So it's basically 200 kilos per hectare. You drive around the field, you do your headlands first, you start to do your ups and downs, you drive to where the GPS is telling you to drive, and this spreader here then literally turns on and off at the headlands itself, so you're not using fertilizer where you don't need it. And where that really comes into its own is in odd shaped fields with triangular corners in it. With the older type spreaders, you're using fertilizer there and overlapping fertilizer where you don't need to, whereas this machine completely adjusts itself, keeps your rate at the 200 kilos per hectare, but isn't spreading where you've already spread before, if that makes sense. And there can be huge savings then on that as well, by not spreading where you don't need fertilizer to go on twice. And yeah, huge savings, especially when you're cropping, not to have double fertilizer spread in fields that could cause barley or wheat maybe to go down with over application of fertilizer. So can be savings both on fertilizer and then on crop as well. So there can be huge savings to be made. But yeah, lovely spreader. Very impressed with some of the new features on it, and yeah, big thank you to Farmhand for dropping it out with me. Unfortunately, as I say, we didn't get to use it this time around, but still it was really nice to get a look at it and see some of the changes that has been made to these machines. So yeah, big thank you to Farmhand. Right, calving. We had 2 cows that still had a calf. It has been going on for the last fortnight, 3 weeks, waiting for them to calf, watching them. The 2 of them calved in a little less than 90 minutes last night. One of them had been calving for about an hour or maybe an hour and a half. Wasn't making much headway. That's this one here. It's one of our older cows. So we put her in the pen here, took the calf out, bit of assistance with the jack. And as we were taking them out, I looked down at the other cow, she's in the back here, and she had her water bag out. She was calving, so couldn't believe it. Great to get it all done and dusted in the one evening. Super little heifer calf here. Certainly one that I'll be keeping on as a replacement. Her mother is one of our older cows and is a super cow. You can see her there. She's there's Hereford Shorthorn breeding in her, and she is a super cow. The camera angle here is making it look like she's not that big, but she is a big enough lump of a cow. Go down here and see her. She'll look a little bit different, but yeah, super cow with a super calf, and delighted with that. The other one, alright, so in with the last cow to calve. She is out of her own herd. She's out of her own Charlie bull, and yeah, calf is out of the limousine bull. So lovely calf. I think it's a wee bull calf. I'm not actually sure, because this girl calved on her own. We didn't have to give her any assistance whatsoever. The calf is a little bit smaller, this calf. She actually wasn't due to calve for a few weeks yet. She was the very last one due, and the calf's probably a little bit smaller because it's that bit earlier. So but don't mind that at all. Both the Charlie bull, who is her father, and the limousine bull, who is the calf's father, both have very good growth. Once you get the calves up and running, they do grow very fast. The other calf that you see here, she's actually a sister. These are 2 sisters. Her calf took crypto and was, I suppose you could call him a miracle story. We could not get him dried up with the crypto. He was dead calf walking for a number of days, and we thought we were going to lose him on numerous occasions, but yeah, I have to say, Dad done some great work to keep him alive. He tried a lot of different things in conjunction with our vets, and it has worked. He's still alive, and he's actually thriving now. He's got a jacket on still. We haven't taken it off, but we'd be hoping now when the weather picks up, which it's supposed to do. Tomorrow, Monday, is supposed to be a little bit on the wet side, but From Tuesday on, they're saying it's going to get a lot warmer, or a bit warmer, but drier. And we'll be hoping to get the 2 newborns out and also this one here, and we'll keep a tight eye on them once they get outside. But yeah, great. We've done okay, considering we have pretty bad crypto issues. We have done all right this year. We've only lost 1 calf. A lot of hard work went into keeping them right and trying to keep them dried up. But we've only lost 1 calf, which is a miracle. We usually lose a few more than that every year. So yeah, great going to only have 1 loss. But yeah, super to have the calving finished with. Delighted with that. That's it for another year. Don't have to be watching them on the camera. Just keep an eye on them in the field now instead. These are some of the bucket reared calves. They are going well. These little guys are doing very, very well, and they're not sure why I'm in here at the minute. It's not feeding time, but they're very inquisitive. Yeah, so that is it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bit of a mix of a few different things. Until the next one, which will be hopefully during the week. I hope to have a midweek update for a change. Maybe have a video out on Thursday. What are we doing this week? Well, we're going to be working at the 3650. We're also going to be doing some getting ready for the silage. We're going to be doing some tidying up in the yard, bit of washing. There's moors to come out and get washed down and greased. There's silage harvesters to get washed down and greased. There's tractors to get washed down and greased. So there's going to be lots of silage preparation videos, we'll call them, over the next couple of weeks before silage. Hope to colour silage. We're putting it back a little bit because of the lack of growth early on. We're hoping to colour silage around the middle to the end of the first week in June is what we're aiming for, weather permitting. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, hit the sub button, leave a like in the video, comment down below. We'll see you on Thursday. See you then.